The life journey of Patric McKinney Jr. Although not all of his family agreed for him to enter the service, he decided to go make a lifetime of memories while serving for his country. This leads us to Patric McKinney Jr., who went through life protecting his country for what he thought was right. He protected many people while also meeting many more. Patric McKinney Jr. not only sacrificed his time, but also his life for his country. Patric McKinney Jr. went through life going to training, protecting the ambassador overseas in Spain, and working on the USS Belleau Wood.
Born on July 9, 1974 in Lebanon, Pennsylvania by Patric and Diane McKinney, McKinney stayed in Lebanon, Pennsylvania through all of his childhood. He enjoyed playing sports like baseball and basketball. He attended the Lebanon School District. A couple of drastic events that occurred during McKinney's childhood included the Iran hostage crisis and the fall of the Berlin Wall. After school, he enjoyed playing at a local basketball court with his friends. While not playing sports in the evening, he worked at Eli's restaurant as a dishwasher and short-order cook.
Before entering the service, McKinney had many decisions to make. For example, will everybody agree with him to go in service? This was just one question he had to ask himself. His grandma didn't want him to go, but he decided to go with his gut and fight for his country. Everybody else in McKinney's family was okay with him joining the service. Another question he had to think about was thinking about what branch to join. After a long, hard thought, he decided to enlist in the United States Marines in October of 1992. This time was hard to join because it was at the tail end of Desert Storm. It was hard because the instructors were tougher than normal because it was at the end of a war.
After enlisting, McKinney went to basic training at Camp Pendleton. Camp Pendleton is located in San Diego, California. McKinney says,
the training really wasn't physically over demanding. It was more mental.
McKinney says,
Standpoint, it was like a hard basketball practice.
McKinney's favorite was Sergeant Jackson because he's a tough guy who is a person you didn't want to mess with. McKinney's most memorable moment was graduation because it was the culmination of 13 weeks. McKinney said,
yes, you have to make your racks with 90-degree corners tight enough to have them come by and throw a quarter down and have it bounce.
McKinney said,
the hardest part was probably just being away from everything you've always known, learning, being on your own in a much larger area than what I grew up in. Bigger.
After joining, McKinney had to adapt to bigger cities and new people he met. McKinney explains that the worst part of training was the gas chamber. Basic training was 13 weeks long.
Towards the end of basic training, McKinney recalls his favorite part of basic training being graduation. McKinney said,
graduation was the culmination of 13 weeks, and it was good to be knowing that you were heading home.
Many of the Marines, like McKinney, liked graduating from boot camp because the grueling training was over, and they'd get to go home to their families. During boot camp, McKinney made lots of friends he still is in contact with today. But boot camp was a life-changing experience for himself and would be the building blocks for being in the Marines.
McKinney graduated from Camp Pendleton in 1993, then went on his first assignment to infantry school in North Carolina. Everyone before going to specialized training must be trained as infantry. After completing infantry school, McKinney completed his specialized training in room clearing and hostage negotiation, an important set of skills needed for a typical Marine. The training would be important for McKinney's arrival in Naval Station Rota to guard the ambassador as part of the security forces.
Many people think when the Marines arrive at their station, their training is over, but that is wrong. McKinney explains,
that usually involved a formation run from the base down to the beach and back. That was probably.
These runs and other activities like sports, the military did while down in Rota to keep them in very good shape. Guarding the ambassador was a very important job. which for well-trained Marines would guard on their missions. McKinney, while stationed in Rota, suffered an ankle injury while working out. This limited home from guarding the ambassador, so he worked at the cantina. Even though he was injured, the higher-ups will always put their men to work in the military. Stricter sleep schedules in Naval Station Rota made McKinney mentally stronger, helping him in his missions guarding the ambassador.
McKinney departed from Naval Station Rota in May 1995 and was stationed in Camp Pendleton for a short time before being deployed on the USS Belleau Wood. While in Camp Pendleton, McKinney made many friends. McKinney says,
your friends become the people that are in your platoon and in your company.
McKinney's duty on the ship was to secure the ship. On the ship, McKinney describes attending the ship like training. The USS Belleau Wood crews traveled around the Asian peninsula. McKinney says,
while we were on deployment, China and Taiwan were having some disagreements, so we were tasked with going to sit off the coast of Taiwan, just as a show of strength towards China.
According to McKinney, the food on the ship was mostly MREs. The food compared to Rota was rough to eat. Helicopter crashes occurred often on ships. McKinney learned what to do during these helicopter crashes in the helo tank. Luckily, McKinney never had to experience a helicopter crash.
After serving on the USS Belleau Wood, McKinney got back to Camp Pendleton and his service officially ended. He was received well by his family and moved back to his hometown area of Lebanon, Pennsylvania. McKinney explains.
And it was welcome, like a normal person just coming home from being away at college or away somewhere else.
A few weeks later, after settling back into civilian life and getting part-time jobs, McKinney found a job at 3 Mile as a security officer. The Marines changed a young man, McKinney, into a more mature one that he said later helped him out in life. McKinney tried his best to stay in contact with most of his friends from service and also joining many veteran organizations with people like himself. After leaving the service, McKinney's family was happy to see him. His grandma was especially happy to see him, as she was particularly unfascinated for him to go into the service. This made McKinney's grandma happy to see him. McKinney's sister was happy to see him as well, as she was an only child without McKinney. McKinney's parents were also happy to see him because they had been worried for him throughout his service. Through McKinney's hard work and bravery in the U.S. Marines, he was awarded with many medals and achievements, including National Defense Ribbon, Navy Achievement Medal, Overseas Service Medal, and Service Medal. These medals show the bravery and unwavering support McKinney showed to our country in his 4 years of service. McKinney used the skills to navigate through life, eventually becoming a police officer, furthering supporting for his country. Patric McKinney continues to be a force for support, well-doing, and bravery for his country after service.